All right. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
As we're all full with the food that we prepared, I think it's time to start the first panel. And the first panel will be about BNB Chain. Okay.
Thank you, Eddie, for having me. This is Sarah from BNB Chain. I'm the head of BD from BNB Chain. Really honored to be here and to share a little bit about what BNB Chain is doing and what blockchain, the whole industry is doing right now.
Right. Let's take a seat. To start, let's start with the most basic question. So if we look at Bitcoin, we think of Bitcoin as a digital gold. But when we look at a BNB token, it will be something that I feel like it's completely different from Bitcoin. There's quite a lot of different characteristics of BNB token versus Bitcoin. A lot of us, I think we're familiar with what Bitcoin is and what to do with Bitcoin. We buy a lot of Bitcoin, we hold on to it until the end of time and hope for the price to go up forever. But for BNB, I think there's quite a lot of insight that I think Sarah would like to share that kind of distinguish how BNB is different from Bitcoin and what's the thing to look for when we try to analyze the valuation and the roadmap and the utility of BNB.
Yeah, happy to share a little bit more about BNB. So we all know that Bitcoin is definitely a digital gold. You hold it and you get the value, hold it there. But BNB is kind of like different. It's just not just a passive asset. BNB tokens actually, there is two major utilities for BNB tokens. One is BNB is the gas tokens as well as the governance tokens for BNB chain. And the BNB chain is actually a programmable ledger. That ledger is actually for the next, I would say, next generations of smart economy. So let's say you wanted to build a tokenized loyalty program, you can build it on top of BNB chain. If you wanted to tokenize any type of real world assets, you can make it to be happen on BNB chains. So we are building infrastructures programmably and ready for any type of developers to build your apps on top of it. So that's a token for next generations of smart economy. But besides that, by holding BNB tokens, you can also use it in the Binance whole ecosystem, not just the blockchain that I just mentioned. So for example, you're holding BNB, you store your BNB into Binance.com apps. You can also get some of the APY by doing the farming there. I think this year the APY is around 10 to 50%. Last year is around 20%. So those are two major utilities for BNB tokens. So it's not just, as I mentioned, right, a passive asset. It's more like representing the next smart economy.
Is there also a limited supply for a BNB token?
Yeah, it's a fixed supply, and actually we burn BNB tokens every quarter.
Right. So there's less and less BNB every quarter, and okay, from what I'm hearing, I would say BNB is more like the infrastructure for all the Web2 businesses that can migrate over. So it has a lot more utility than Bitcoin. But Bitcoin on its own, with the market size and the regulatory support, it will be analyzed differently than BNB, correct?
Yeah, we're just playing different role in the whole crypto and blockchain spaces. Bitcoin is definitely the top one and one of the major assets there. But as I mentioned, right, we are building the technical infrastructures, not only for the asset itself, but also for any type of the apps and for any type of developers.
Right, right. So to continue on that, if BNB is more like the busy highway, the infrastructure for the next era of blockchain and digital asset world, I think as the head of BD, when you look at all the dashboard and the stats of what's driving the traffic right now, what is the main driving force of BNB at the moment? Like I said, a lot of trading, Do you see a lot of asset tokenization, or is stablecoin becoming more like relevant in the space?
Actually, a few really interesting number I'd like to share. Definitely a few years ago, trading volume is one of the major metrics on different blockchains. That's also the case as for now. So this year, actually, BNB Chain has ranked the top one in terms of the trading volume by comparing with all other layer 1, layer 2 protocols in this space. Actually, we generated around over 10 billion trading volume in US dollars per day. But that's not just the case. Actually, this year we saw a lot other type of adoption that is happening right now on the blockchains. So for example, AD, you mentioned about stablecoin and payment. That's already becoming one of the major adoptions and scenarios that is happening in the blockchain space. So I have a numbers, I can share it right now here. On BNB Chain, there is over 10 million active address that is usually using stablecoin on BNB Chain and transfer stablecoin from one address to another address. That's 10 million people already there. And also their trading and transaction of the stablecoin right now per month is around billions of the amount of volumes right now on chain. So you can see that people is already using the stablecoin or let's say digital dollar to payroll, to pay their e-commerce store products, or to pay their taxes, or in any kind of scenarios in your real life. So that's already something happened. And this year we saw a lot of traditional payment company like Master, Visa, Stripe, and a lot of others also coming to join Web3 spaces. And by the way, actually, we saw those days, there's not just digitalized dollars. We saw a lot of other small countries trying to tokenize their own local currencies. For example, Brazil, they have their own digitized currencies on chain right now. Korea, I know they are doing it. South Korea, they're planning to do it too. Hong Kong, they have their sandbox over there. So stablecoin and payment, as I mentioned, is becoming one of the major adoptions right now that is really onboarding the Web2 users to the Web3 spaces already. Besides that, we also saw a big trend around RWA. RWA means real-world assets. So actually this year, we started working with a lot of big institutions in the Web2 space, including BlackRock, Franklin Templeton. In Asia, we're working with China Merchant Bank International to help them to tokenize the real-world assets on chain, whatever it is, money market fund, T-bill, or gold, or silver, or real estate, company credit. There's different type of assets in the real world, previously traded and invested in the Web2 world, but right now they are trying to digitize it on the blockchain space. There's few others like AI, gaming, social, a lot of different types of depths or direction that people is trying to innovate in this space. So we are quite excited for that.
And the ecosystem is growing really fast. We finalized the backdrop sign like just a few weeks ago with like 600 something million unique wallet on BNB Chain. And last week I went to Binance Blockchain Week in Dubai, and apparently the number of unique wallet went up to 700 million already.
Yeah, so I think I saw you in different events of BNB Chain. We saw that a lot more people is joining the space by attending different events and talking to us, exploring different scenarios with us. So very happy to see the trend.
All right. And just to continue on this, now that we see the infrastructure has been laid out and there's quite a lot of interest in stablecoin, in the RWA sector, what about like the application for mass adoption? Do you see any interesting project founders or application like the future Netflix or the future Uber coming to crypto in probably the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, actually, another number I wanted to share here, because you mentioned about massive adoption. So do you know right now on BNB Chain there is over 700 million unique addresses, which means we already have 700 million users on BNB Chain. So you mentioned about massive adoption. I would say stablecoin payments definitely one type of massive adoption that's happening on chain right now. But besides that, we also saw some of the really big companies in different countries, regions. They are trying to do something like loyalty program, and different loyalty program from different companies can share it and swap from each other's, and they can standardize the token for the loyalties, and a few others. As I mentioned, right? Actually, 3 years ago, there is a lot GameFi projects that's developed on top of BNB Chain too, and that's still keeping the trend this year. We saw a lot really interesting big gamify IP that's tokenizing and launching their apps on the BNB Chain ecosystem too. Another trend is AI, I would say. We saw a lot really talented AI builders that they are trying to combine AI technology together with blockchain technologies. Whatever they tokenize the AI agent or to enable AI agent payments in the blockchain spaces. So there's a lot of things that may potentially onboard next billion of users from Web2 to Web3 in different form.
Is there like any specific catalyst you think we should focus on when we try to look into the mass adoption, the 1 billion user? What would be the things you would recommend the guests tonight to kind of monitor or pay attention to?
I think you should pay attention to some of the big institutions or companies. They are trying to enable digital wallet or crypto wallet in their products or in their services. We are talking to some of the foreign brand owners or producers. They wanted to embed the crypto wallet into their phone and offer this product directly to the users. We're talking to the car builders or manufacturers. They wanted to enable DID into their car that they have been built. So we think if you saw that type of news coming out, you will see those big giants in the Web2 world, they are really trying to bring their billions of users on chain by offering them a digital wallet or DID solutions.
Okay. And okay, right now, I think most of our guests, some are in the crypto space, some are in the investment, venture capitalists, but there's also a lot of guests tonight who are in the Web2 business, business CEO, in real estate, in finance, in manufacturing. If they want to look into BNB Chain in terms of business integration, is there like something that they should, is there like a toolkit to start? 3-4 years ago, we looked into asset tokenization, and there's still a lot of friction in terms of regulation and understanding. So in today's time, for business CEOs at the event, if they want to, look into digital asset integration, what are the first thing that they could be doing, whether it's a loyalty program, brand building, etc.?
Actually, I think 4 years ago, it seems like really difficult to write a smart contract on chain, but right now it's quite different, quite easy. Especially if you just wanted to launch a token, you can just click, and 1 second, you got the assets on chain. We have a lot of tools in the spaces that can help you to easily tokenize your assets on BNB chains. And also, there is a bunch of tools in the developer communities that can help you to simplify the whole building and developing process into the blockchain spaces. And also, so for now, actually, if you wanted to really write a smart contract on chain, it won't take you a week even. It's just like 1 day. You can complete all the week, and the other time you just wait for the auditing for your smart contract to make sure it's something secure. And if you're building something really complicated, BNB Chain team is actually my team is always there that can support different companies and consult them on what type of projects and product they can build. And we even working with some of the technical development team to offer tailor-made smart contract development services to potential users or big companies in the space.
So smart contract is much easier to do now relative to the past. And how flexible is it to design a smart contract? Let's say for like loyalty program to do X, Y, Z and get certain points, things like that. Is it something that's much easier to do in today's time?
I think it's yes. So for some of the features, we are building a concept like middleware. We wrapped up all those some really interesting features into the middleware layers, so that we can just simply offer APY to potential users in the future. So for example, in the future, you wanted to have private transactions on chain or private trading on chain. For the past experiences, you may build that things from scratch, but right now you can just potentially integrate with one single APY, and then you can have that solutions there. So you don't have to build everything by your own, but there is already, as I mentioned, some of the tool in the middleware layers that we can offer to you to make sure you can have that functions or features for your products on chain.
All right. So in short, it's much easier to start a crypto project and business integration. Most business owners will have to think about the front end and the mechanics, but the back end side, the smart contract, is much easier to do. And BNB Chain also has a lot of resource to help out, like for interesting projects with growth potential, right?
Yeah. So our end goal is kind of like to make the whole developer experiences to be more seamlessly and user friendly, and also make the users for your future products that they may even not feeling that they are interacting with the blockchain technology. Once we make that happen in the future, then I will see the massive adoption will finally come into blockchain space.
Right. So after this session, I'll talk to a lot of business owner and see what we can do for next year.
Yeah, definitely. If anyone interested in coming to us, and we can talk about that and we can support each other.
All right. Finally, I think we should talk about the AI theme, which is very popular at the moment and getting a lot of public attention. So Andrew mentioned that AI needs means of payment, and they will look into crypto rather than the traditional world of finance. So what is BNB Chain doing at the moment to ensure that they will be the main winner for this next big wave of AI and crypto?
That's a really interesting topic. So I wanted to talk about that one today too. So as you mentioned, right, AI in the future, it will be a little bit difficult for them to really open a bank account in traditional bank, right? But it is quite easy for them to have a DID, a digital ID on blockchain, and have their own private key and public keys on blockchains. And then they can really do agent-to-agent payment, machine-to-machine payment, and make the autonomous AI, autonomous machine to be really happen in the future. So what we do to support this is, one, we actually, 2 years ago, we launched a decentralized storage protocol called Greenfield. So the data is quite important. Data is oil for AI in AI technologies. And once you train your data, you should care about where are those data storing at. So Greenfield is an ideal layer to store your valuable data and to make it to be decentralized. So it's not a centralized storage protocol. And then there is embedded bridges between Greenfield as well as BNB Smart Chain and OPBNB. So you can have smart contract programmable features building on top of that. So that's a really interesting technical feature that a lot of AI builders loves. So they are putting their AI training data on Greenfield and write smart contract on the layer 1 protocols. That's one thing how we get prepared for AI plus crypto adoption happen. Another one is building a lot of AI-related tools to offer it to the users to make the developers seamlessly integrating with the blockchain technologies. And the final thing is, as you mentioned, we were saying, the AI agent payments or machine-to-machine payments is one of the major combinations or let's say adoptions for AI with crypto in the future. So we are actually building a high-performance layer 1 protocols that is having even lower gas fee, high TPS, and low finalities that can make sure we can really support billions of transactions per day in the future happen on our, the whole infrastructures. So that can enable us to really support AI agent payment, machine-to-machine payment in the future.
That is what Brooker is looking to capture in the next year. Actually, last week I went to Blockchain Week in Dubai, and I also I'm very impressed that the BNB ecosystem also invests in longevity, wellness, and robotics, which will definitely be integrated into AI and crypto in the future. So yeah, they're looking far ahead into the future, invest in advance, get to know all the founders, and all the projects are really interesting. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing all the insights. And can I get a round of applause for Sarah, the head of BD? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Eddie. Thank you, guys.